What rule got changed because of you? I started a new office job and they had a super strict dress code. I have a pretty big scar on my scalp from a surgery when I was a kid and I've always been self-conscious about it. So, I wore a simple plain black beanie to cover it. It was discreet. No logos and looked professional. For the first 2 weeks, nobody said a thing. Then my manager Brenda decided to update the dress code. She sent out a company-wide email saying, all headwear must be formal and business appropriate. The next day she called me into her office. She pointed at my beanie and said it was no longer acceptable. I explained calmly. It's just to cover a scar. I'm happy to buy a different one if this color is the problem. She just shook her head. Beanies are not formal. The rule is the rule. You could wear a wig if you're that concerned. I was stunned. A wig. I couldn't afford that. And it felt so humiliating. I went home that night and read her email over and over. Formal and business appropriate. That vague wording was her mistake. The next morning, I walked in wearing a fascinator. A big bright pink one with feathers and a little net that came down over my eye. It was something you'd see at a fancy horse race. Brenda's jaw hit the floor. What is that on your head? Smiled. It's a fascinator. It's formal headwear. Is it not business appropriate? She was completely speechless. Technically followed her new rule. She couldn't say anything. The next day, I wore a sleek black pillbox hat, very 1960s. The day after that, a small classy top hat. My coworkers thought it was hilarious. They started placing bets on what I'd wear next. My little corner of the office became the most popular spot for people to walk by. Brenda got angrier every day, but I was following her rule perfectly. The breaking point came when the regional director was visiting our branch. That day, I had chosen a particularly bold peacock-feathered headpiece. The director came over to my desk looking confused. He asked Brenda why I was dressed for a royal wedding. Brenda pulled him aside, and I could hear her whispering that I was mocking the company policy. The director then came and spoke to me directly. I explained the whole situation very calmly. I told him about my scar, how Brenda had refused to make an exception for a simple beanie, and how I was just doing my best to follow the new formal headwear rule she had created. He looked at me, then at Brenda, and then he just started to laugh. A full loud laugh right in the middle of the office. He told Brenda that her lack of common sense was creating a bigger distraction than a plain beanie ever could. The next morning, a new email went out to the entire company from the director's office. The subject line was, Revision to Dress Code Policy. The new rule was very specific. Effective immediately, the headwear policy is as follows. Plain solid-colored beanies and religious head coverings are permitted. All other hats and headwear are not.